Have you ever wondered why Americans love barbecue so much? I mean, to the extent that there are national-level barbecue competitions, thousands of barbecue clubs across the country, and endless debates over which sauce is the most authentic. If you've ever bitten into a smoky, crispy-edged rib and thought, what makes this dish so legendary, then welcome to a journey of exploring a dish that seems simple on the surface, but carries within it a deep history and the soul of the American South. Have you tried American-style barbecue before? Which type is your favorite, Texas, Carolina, Memphis, or Kansas? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you've ever hosted your own backyard barbecue, tell me about it. Any smoky disasters or delicious wins? Now, back to the story. Barbecue, short for barbecue, might sound 100% American, but the truth is, it didn't originate in America. And here's your second hook, in case you're still listening, barbecue actually comes from indigenous tribes of the Caribbean, and was borrowed by European settlers in the 15th and 16th centuries. Here's one of those weird food facts that'll surprise you. The word barbecue itself comes from barbacoa, a term in the Taino language for a wooden rack used to slowly smoke meat. That method of cooking meat over indirect heat is a culinary technique that predates the United States by centuries. When the Spanish arrived, they didn't just take gold and spices back to Europe, they also took this method of cooking. From there, barbecue traveled widely, through Spain, into Mexico, and eventually down to the southern states of the US. And it was there, especially on the cotton and sugar plantations, that barbecue truly blossomed into a cultural symbol of the South. Why the South? Because it was a place of intense cultural intersections, white settlers, black communities, indigenous tribes, immigrants, all living, working, and eating together. In that context, barbecue became a humble yet unifying dish. Imagine, on weekends, folks gathering around a pit, grilling meat over charcoal, bluegrass or country music playing in the background. It wasn't just a meal, it was a community ritual, a storytelling space, a way to preserve identity. Another of those weird food facts, every region in the US has its own barbecue personality. In Texas, it's all about brisket, big cuts of beef, seasoned simply with salt and pepper, smoked overnight. Texans tend to smirk when they see someone putting barbecue sauce on brisket. Sauce is for people who can't cook meat right, they'll say. Meanwhile, the Carolinas are pork lovers, especially pulled pork, served with a tangy vinegar and red pepper sauce. Once you're used to it, you might just crave it forever. Memphis balances between dry and wet ribs, some are cooked without sauce to highlight the smoky flavor, while others are slathered in sweet tomato-based sauce. Then there's Kansas City, which many call the barbecue capital, where everything goes, beef, pork, chicken, sausages, all drowned in a thick, sweet, tomato-heavy sauce. You see, barbecue isn't just a way of cooking meat. It's a cultural canvas, where each region, each community, pours its soul into every slice of meat, every drop of sauce. This dish tells us stories of migration, of racial divides, of poverty, of hope, all through a humble, charred piece of meat. Surprised yet? Which barbecue style do you think best represents the soul of the American South? Don't be shy, this is a safe space for all smoky meat lovers. If you think barbecue is just a weekend dish, then you probably haven't heard the phrase. Barbecue is political. Sounds intense, doesn't it? But the truth is, barbecue was once a symbol of resistance, especially in the African American community. In the American South after the Civil War, barbecue wasn't just easy to cook and share, it became a way for black communities to celebrate, organize, and build their own spaces. In many areas, barbecue was the feast of hope, held after church services, on Juneteenth, the Emancipation Day, or during events pushing for equality. A grill in the front yard could become a space where adults discussed life, kids played tag, young people freestyled to rap beats, and elders told stories from way back. Every curl of barbecue smoke rising into the air carried with it a thread of living history. Have you ever joined a community barbecue, in the US or elsewhere? Did you feel that special sense of connection? Share it with us. Then came the 20th century, and barbecue evolved once more, stepping into the spotlight of marketing and pop culture. Here's one of those weird food facts that makes you see food differently. Major consumer brands used barbecue as a cultural metaphor. From beer commercials to soda ads, barbecue was framed as authentic American joy, rustic, communal, and proudly imperfect. Think back to American films you've seen, from The Help, Green Book, to modern shows like This Is Us. Barbecue always shows up during key moments: family dinners, farewells, reunions, even proposals. It's the soulful supporting character that everyone remembers. Beer brands, soda companies, sauce makers quickly jumped on the barbecue bandwagon. From Super Bowl commercials to food packaging, barbecue became the face of comfort, closeness, authenticity, and a very American kind of Americana. And let's not forget the legendary barbecue competitions. Some folks invest in barbecue rigs like others invest in race cars, using drones to monitor heat, hiring separate teams to marinate, manage the fire, and perfect the timing. These competitions can last days, feature dozens of teams, have live broadcasts, MCs, judges, and prize money in the thousands. Another weird food fact: at the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest in Memphis, teams designed barbecue booths that look like castles, pirate ships, and full tiki lounges, all for bragging rights and the crown. Barbecue was no longer poor folks' food, it had become a cultural badge of honor. Something to boast about, to take pride in, to say, "I'm from the South, and I know how to grill right." Yet amidst all that smoke and flare, one thing remains beautifully simple: the connection. No matter who you are or where you're from, you can stand around a grill, beer in hand, chat about the weather, your favorite team, or your grandpa's secret dry rub recipe. A grill and some meat can erase the space between strangers, turning a random group into fast friends, at least until the food runs out. So what's your most unforgettable barbecue memory? Was it your first time abroad, or just a chill Sunday picnic with your besties? Drop your story, I bet it'll make someone else smile too. So when people say barbecue is the soul of the American South, it's not just poetic. It truly carries a soul, of survival, of sharing, of joy from the simplest things. You might live in glamorous New York or futuristic San Francisco, but just one whiff of barbecue smoke from a charcoal pit on an Atlanta sidewalk, and you'll feel something very human, very rooted. And not many dishes can do that. And you know what? The best thing about barbecue is that it's never perfect. The meat might be a bit charred, the sauce a tad heavy, the fire uneven, but that rustic imperfection is exactly what makes barbecue real. Just like people, not flashy, just cooked with enough time and care to be juicy, smoky, and full of flavor. In a fast-paced world, barbecue is a pause button. A reason to put down your phone, flip a rib, listen to the crackle of coal, and swap stories, from tiny moments to childhood memories. You might forget a fancy dinner at a five-star restaurant, but you'll never forget the day your friends huddled around a tiny smoky grill, laughing, flipping meat, hoping it wouldn't burn. Just like the American South, with all its complexity, history, pain, and pride, barbecue is a smoky symphony, blending rich and poor, black and white, old and new, yet somehow finding harmony. Have you ever tasted a dish that made you feel fully yourself? No need for manners or formalities, just hands, napkins, and a big smile. Share that dish, I know you've got a great story there. Today, barbecue is no longer confined to the South. It's everywhere. You'll find brisket in Tokyo, pulled pork in London, even Korean barbecue sauces with an American twist. But wherever it goes, it carries that old-school vibe, warmth, humility, and sincerity. And here's the last of today's weird food facts. In Southern families, it's not unusual for barbecue sauce recipes to be written into wills, passed down like treasures, guarded like secrets. There's a lovely quote by writer John Edgerton, who wrote about Southern cuisine. During the holidays, Southerners don't invite each other over for dinner. They invite each other to the pit. That act, gathering at the pit, is what turns barbecue from food into tradition. It's a silent invitation, hey, come over, grab a bite, let's trade stories. And if you pay attention, every good barbecue has 3 ingredients: smoke, meat, and people. Leave out one, and well, it's not barbecue anymore. If you enjoy stories behind familiar dishes like this one, comment what food you'd like me to cover next, maybe ramen, pizza, or even Vietnam's own bánh chưng. Finally, if you're wondering, how can a story about food feel this emotional, then congratulations, you've just felt what barbecue is really all about. It's not the meat, it's the memory. Not the sauce, but the sharing. Not the smoke, but the circle of people coming together, even for just a little while. So next time you hear charcoal popping or smell grilled meat wafting nearby, remember, you're not just about to eat something delicious. You're about to step into a cultural moment that's been alive for hundreds of years. Don't forget to hit follow and stay tuned for more episodes diving into the soulful history of the world's most beloved foods. I'll be here each week with stories that are old, but never outdated. Thanks for sticking with me through this long tale. Whether you're sipping coffee, commuting, or just needed a moment to breathe, I hope this barbecue story brought a little smile, a little thought, and a little spark of inspiration to slow down. Catch you in the next storytelling podcast.